Without promotion, something terrible happens. Nothing. P.T. Barnum said it. Jesse Cole put it in the Yellow Tux, his book that I recently read. And this 100% relates to real estate. Have you ever sold a home and thought, man, I would love to sell all the homes in this neighborhood. I would love to be that listing agent. But we don't do anything to promote ourselves in a way that is a little bit different. Today, I've come across a strategy that could change the game and allow you to own the neighborhood you want to sell listings in. Stay tuned. What's up, guys? Jeremy Kane with the Real Estate Agent Playbook and Carbon Collective at eXp Realty. Thank you so much for tuning in. We are going to jump right into this because this is a strategy that I came across. It's not mine. I came across it and it made me think. All we have to do is the same traditional things, just a little bit differently to scale our businesses. And as you know, I've been a proponent of scaling businesses through relationships. And this is just one added layer. It is in my zone. It makes sense to me. And I want to bring it to you so we can dive in. So let's just get right into it. So the first and foremost thing that I want to talk about is what happens typically. I've done it. You've done it. Most agents have done it. When we get a listing, we sell the listing, however long it takes, whatever that is, depending on the market. And we're so focused on everything within the transaction that once the transaction's over, we're like, okay, cool. And in my market, we have a lot of people that are moving out of the state, whether it's affordability, political, whatever it is. People seem to be, longtime residents of Colorado seem to be moving to different states. And this is kind of newer in our world, at least mine. And it's hard, right? Because we don't have a built-in closing gift. What makes sense at that time for those people who are now moving across the country? You don't want to get them something, a memento that's going to be big and clunky and have to carry. So, we just kind of are like, okay, well, yeah, see ya, and there's certain things that I've come across and I'll share those in another video, but that's not the point. The point is that we get so wrapped up in what's that closing gift going to be, that sometimes we don't sit back and focus and understand the opportunity to leverage that sale in more ways than just the relationship with the seller. So house closes, we wave, we maybe help them move, throw the stuff in the truck, pick up the sign, and we're off to the races, right? The transaction's done. Maybe we update our CRM, maybe we don't, and we're on to the next deal. This is what we need to change, right? How can I convert this proximity, this success story into more transactions just like that one, because that one was successful in a neighborhood that I want to be in. So here's the strategy. It came across my feed. Again, this is not mine, but you take the area, maybe 5 to 10 neighbors around, okay, a week before closing, and say, hey, there's some new neighbors moving in. If you want, you can say first names. I would not divulge everything, but say, I just want to give them a welcome to the neighborhood, right? You hand them a card. The card is just a welcome to the neighborhood, just from the neighbors, not even from the real estate agent, because you can do this on both sides. If you're the buyer's agent and someone's buying a house in the neighborhood, you could go walk that neighborhood and say, hey, my client's moving into this neighborhood. I just want to give them a great big welcome. We're going to have this card and some flowers on the island when they walk in, that kind of stuff. Or if you're the seller, right, you're representing the seller, you can say, hey, my sellers obviously loved living here for a long time. They're moving to wherever, and then you go into talking about, there's a new family in here and we just want to welcome them with, open arms, right? We want to have a nice card. Can you fill out this card and sign it? Welcome to the neighborhood. That's it. That's all. And people are like, well, you didn't go for the ask, or you didn't ask them for referrals. We don't need to be pitching ourselves at that point, because the action of what we're doing is so different, and it's bringing community together. It's showing that community is your number one priority, that they already think differently of you. So just this one strategy, right? We've all talked about door knocking around open houses or door knocking around listings on the front end, but who door knocks on the back end and doesn't talk about how much they sold it for, or how quickly they sold it for, or whatever? Certainly, if you go with a card, here's the deal. Who's going to say no? Absolutely not. I'm not going to welcome that new neighbor to the neighborhood. Okay, maybe 1 out of 10, but you're standing there having a conversation, they're filling out the card, then they're probably going to, out of awkwardness, ask you, how's the market? Then you go down the rabbit hole. It depends on why you ask, right? And you turn that into a prospecting conversation at that point, but you didn't start it. The guard is down and the neighbors will, do their thing. They sign the card and say, thank you very much. That's a really cool idea. Awesome. Let me know if there's anything ever I can do for you. But until then, we'll see you, right? I wouldn't even leave anything with them. You are just doing what you say you're doing to welcome the neighbors to the neighborhood. So this is a huge piece of it. And I think this transitions greatly into the rules, right? Here's the deal. It was your listing. It's not even your clients you're giving the card to. So this is an important piece because you don't want to stir things up with the buyer's agent. You don't want to kind of go there. I know some people do, but at the end of the day, that's not what I want to do. So there's no marketing pieces. I don't hand the people who are signing the card a marketing piece. I also don't have any marketing on the card that relates back to me. It's just a nice gesture, right? That's all it is. Okay, so no marketing pieces to the homeowners that you're door knocking, no marketing pieces to the buyer who's not your client. Okay, no just sold stats, nothing of the sort. In fact, what I like to do when people are asking me questions, maybe I throw an event and they're like, hey, I need to talk to you about buying, but the event's a charity or something like that. That's great. Like, let's do this and then let's schedule a time to talk outside of this, right? Because that tells them, okay, yeah, we're here for this, but let's connect then. Okay, no bragging, not I sold it in 3 days, not we had 1 million showings, not I had the best open house. It's legitimately just a conversation out of the goodness of your heart to go help these neighbors understand that someone new's coming in. We want to bring the community together. We want to welcome them, and we're off to the races, right? No fishing for referrals, none of that. No contacts, nothing, unless it's asked for, right? Then you can connect. Hey, I got to get this card signed, but, I would love to do that annual review for you that, you talked about as you were signing the card. Here's my Calendly link, or what time works for you. Let's jump on a Zoom, or I can come back over, right? You have to understand that, yes, you do take the opportunities when it's given to you, but for purposes of this, and to 100% have the guard lowered so that people will be open with you about their future plans to build your pipeline of clients, that's where you go. That's how you operate. Because the act alone of providing a welcome to the neighborhood card for someone that's not even your client, for serving that home that your sellers are moving out of, maybe they lived in it for 20 years and they raised their family there, it's important to them that somebody, is welcomed into that home typically so that they can do the same thing. It's rinse and repeat. The same family, that they were 20 years ago is moving into that house, give or take. And it's just a cycle, right? Because that's why you have neighborhoods with a ton of kids and all of the things, because the bigger neighborhoods, more people and so on. So this is how you start to lay the foundation of, dang, that would be really cool if, somebody like that would move into our home and, they would be welcomed into the community like we've been a part of for so long. So you're planting seeds as you go without having to sell anything. So why does this actually work, right? The buyer feels welcome. The neighborhood is more vibrant and talking. The buyer obviously enjoyed how the home was presented. Yes. Is there a possibility of the buyer absolutely loving their agent and so on? But people think so differently of the buyer's agent and the listing agent. It's very likely that they would say, hey, the listing agent left me this, card that you signed. That's really awesome. I've never seen that before. And they're like, yeah, I've never seen that before. They did such a great job listing the property. And then the neighbor's going to call you, right? This is how we start to build rapport with actual neighbors. You look like a professional. You're not trying to, go canvass the entire neighborhood and, sell every house. You're just trying to bring the neighborhood and the community together. And you differentiate yourself immediately because it's like, look, I'm here to stay. I want to be a part of this community, or I live in this community, and so on. And people will start to recognize you. Right? Then you get another listing down the road, and then you're door knocking those same, 5 people because they're, the 5 closest neighbors on the other side. And They're like, dang, you do this for everybody. You sell all the houses in this neighborhood, and start to plant the seed, right? They see your sign again. They see you at another open house. They see you, door knocking the neighborhood. They see you throwing open house, or housewarming parties. And so as we start to do this, we can really build something special, right? Added bonus, I would highly suggest, if, it makes sense and it's a positive move, that you say, hey, to your sellers, to the clients, would you like me to throw a going away party? Right? A leaving the neighborhood party. This is something I got from Chad and Tegan Braun in my organization. And with the right group of people, this is a great opportunity. It's also an opportunity for you at that party, if they're inviting all the neighbors, to say, hey, we close on Friday. Let's have a card for, the buyers that are coming in here. Then you don't have to door knock. Then it's even more comfortable. And, you're kind of dialing into that. And then the connection is the seller who left the property. They'll still stay in contact on Facebook, and you'll have that. So just an added bonus there if anyone's still watching. All right. So here's the deal. Stop thinking about a transaction. Start thinking about a territory. Start to understand that if you differentiate yourself, no matter if it's one of the classic, ways we've grown business, door knocking, cold calling, whatever, you have to differentiate yourself in how you care for the people in front of you. And differentiation is the key. This is just one little way that I saw differentiation, and I was like, I need to bring that to my audience because it's absolutely clutch, right? If you are different, if you are doing things different, you don't have to worry about anything but the relationships that you're creating and curating, because the truth is, people just want to be cared for by people, and they want to be important. They want to connect people to other people. And if you are doing things differently in a way that brings the entire community together, there's no doubt that you will raise to the top of your game, of your market, in your real estate career. So the truth is, if you want to start getting more listing opportunities without dialing for dollars or pounding the pavement, start doing things that no one else is willing to do. And you can make these really cool, really creative, and just a touch different than everyone is, and you will differentiate yourself. Until then, subscribe to the channel, throw me a comment, let me know what you think. If you get out there and you're absolutely trying this strategy, comment below, come back to this video, shoot me a DM on Instagram. I'd love to hear your results. Until then, go get another win today in the game of real estate. We'll talk to you soon.